Hello. I want to further educate people about myself. Um, if you look on my Twitter account, you'll see a whole variety of posts. Um, those are just, what I was. Those are like my thoughts that I just post my thoughts on Twitter. But I do recommend you look at my Twitter account if you want to know what I'm thinking about. Um, I consider myself to be Lain Iwakura. Um, then one more thing, I want to educate people about that I do not think I'm a human. I want people to know what it's like not to be a human, or at least I'm the only one who isn't a human amongst all of you humans. I do not think I'm a human. I know I'm not a human. Um, but I'm not a different type of species. Therefore, I could not be like an alien or anything. I'm not a different type of, that's not what's going on. What's going on is that I call myself the trickster. But what I thought that I had done was trick people. I tricked them twice actually, but I managed to trick people more than once. I tricked them twice, although I don't remember what the second trick was. But I managed to trick people into thinking that I was a human. That is precisely what I've done. I realized the reason I got these tattoos in the first place was only because I'm not a human. I thought I was supposed to get tattoos since I'm not human. It's kind of a strange reason, but that was the reason why. I want the world to know, and I want to educate the world. At the risk of my own safety, I guess. I mean, I don't really think this really makes me any more or less safe than I was before. I just want the world to know that I'm not a human. Like, right before your very eyes. I know you think that I'm a human, but that means you got tricked. I tricked you into thinking I was a human. Sorry, I have tardive dyskinesia or some shit. My jaw just moves by itself. I tricked you into thinking I was a human. I can't control the facial movements. I wasn't smiling. Anyways, I just want the world to know that I don't consider myself to be a human. I'm not a human. The world ought to know. I think of the world as an ancient place. Now, you might think of the world as an ancient place also, but the way you perceive or view the world is not the way that I perceive or view the world. That is since you are human, but I am not. So how ancient it could be is not something that you could know unless you were also myself. But you're not. If you want to know what it's like to be ancient, then you would need to be me. Or you would need to be one of the ancient people. Well, technically you're all ancient, but I think the world was no longer ancient once computers were invented. So once people invented computers, I think that the world had no longer been ancient, or that nobody on the earth is ancient as long as there is a computer that is running on the earth. Therefore, the people of the modern day are not ancient, as there are computers that run on the earth. Should there be no computers, or they were all turned off or something, then the world would be ancient again. That is what I think. But you don't really know what it's like to be ancient, despite you being an ancient creature yourself. Is that I do think that I'm the ancient creature, but I'm not a creature. I don't like to call myself a creature. I call myself the trickster. If I called myself a creature, that would imply I was another type of species, but I'm not. I want the world to know, with this video, that I'm not human. On top of this, I do not have a human body. Over the course of a very long time, probably the past couple years, were some significant changes in my body. Um, so what happened with those changes in my body was that, not only things that I didn't realize before, like I didn't realize before that I had a uterus. I know I have a uterus. It's connected to my anus, and the blood comes out of my ass, and I have a period once a month. But on top of that, there's more things going on with my body. So over the course of time, my body had shrunk significantly. My skin got softer, more like a woman. Without any effects of HRT, all of this was happening naturally. Like, my feet got significantly smaller. I think that's why it's a little bit hard to balance now. But, on top of this, like, my skull got smaller. That is why, I think if you look a little bit back on my old videos, like, my skull is smaller than it was before. In just a short period of time. I do believe my body is sort of morphing into the shape of a woman. And then on top of this, I realized that there are like ears, like extra ears growing out of my head. Think of like an anime, and in anime they have cat girls, but the cat girls also have human ears, so they have like 4 ears. It's something like that. There's like ears growing out of my head. And I know that there's ears there because I can hear sound out of these ears that are growing out of my head. There's also 2 horns that I don't hear sound out of, but they're very hard. My mother, by the way, this is real. My mother was able to feel the horns on my head with her finger, let alone she also squeezed what I think are wings growing out of my back. My mother was able to squeeze this growth that is coming out symmetrically out of my shoulder blades. Then on top of this, there's also something on my lower back that I think is going to be a tail. Now this is what I think. I give less of a fuck if people think I'm a schizophrenic at this point. I just want the world to know. Also, there is fur. It's not like hair. There's like fur on these fucking ears, man. Pardon my language. Alright, so that's what's going on with my body. Now you know what my body is straight up not human. My mother was able to squeeze the things that are growing out of my back symmetrically behind my shoulder blades that are wings. Sometimes I feel intense pain in these wings, but it's not as bad as it was before when it started. It's not nearly that bad anymore. Or I feel like pain in my tail. I don't know, there's all these things going out of my body. Now, I'm letting the world know now, in 2025. But if I manage to survive for another who knows how many years that it takes for these fucking extremities to grow, then people are going to be like, damn, this person really might not be a human. So you don't believe it now. I know you don't believe it now. But in the future, you will, if I do survive for that long. Let alone, I don't know if I'll be posting videos on this channel by that time, probably not. But the world will figure it out somehow. And I'm pretty certain the government, at least someone's gotta know. I mean, I can't be the only person who knows that I'm not a human. I don't give a fuck if you think that I am a human. That means you got tricked. I tricked other people into thinking I was a human. Dude, if you don't think I'm a human, then you're on my side. But if you think I'm a human, then you're wrong. Simple as that. Anyways, I'm not criticizing my viewer base. I know that you people do think I'm a human. But the ultimate fact of the matter is that you got tricked. I do call myself the trickster. That is not a different type of species. That is just what I am. Now, the trickster is Lain Iwakura. Lain Iwakura is a Muslim woman who is black. Now, it's all very complicated. I had gone beyond what I wrote on the pursuit of intelligence, and now I'm sort of thinking about things that are like even more important or prudent. The month of August of this year was kind of the defining month for me because I was able to figure out things that I never thought I would be able to figure out before. But it's like the month of August is over. It was probably the most difficult month I've ever been through because the whole month I was trying to not do this, to not figure things out. But I wasn't able to do it. What I'm attempting to do now is just to have more positive thoughts or just try to get through the day. If I just focus on getting through the day, I won't focus on figuring things out. But it's also like, you don't know what my perception is like, because you don't know what it's like to be inside my own mind. My perception is not human. I perceive it, it's very complicated, my perception, but it's like I have no body, essentially. Not only on top of this, do I not, how do I word this? I'm able to speak a language that came to me out of nowhere, that I was all of a sudden able to speak and translate to English if I want to. So the language, I thought I'd only known English, but then I realized that this language I call Nor, N-O-R, Nor. And I can, say a few words for you in Nor. It's a real language, but it's very interesting because the language is very short. I don't know if short form is the right word, but you can say a lot without saying a whole lot in this language. And when I directly translate it, I'm literally directly translating what it is that I say. I'll either give like an implied translation or a direct translation, like a literal translation of what I had said. I'll say something for you so that you know what I'm talking about. I've made videos about this language before, but I thought I would talk about it again. Also, not only that, but did not a writing system for this language immediately come to me that I was able to write in the language of Nor, then read it verbatim every single time, then be able to translate it to English. I'd made videos about that too. But anywho, let's say something in Nor. Alright, so what I said was, I do not know what else to do, but there was nothing else I could not do. Well, the only thing stopping myself of finding what I could not do was what I could not do. Well, the only thing preventing myself of looking beyond this point was the depths of the galaxy or the sadness of outer space. Still, there was nothing left till I quell. The only thing I couldn't find was the end of Nigh. That is what I said. Alright, so that's what I said in Nor, translated into English. The world ought to know about this. I'm not a fucking human. Pardon my language, I don't want to cuss at human. I don't want to cuss at you humans. I don't think I'm a human. This video has to be made. Do not think that I'm not grounded in reality. I know how to fucking fake being a human for people at this point. I'm pretty good at it. Plus, I don't really have to do a whole lot of work sometimes, or almost all the time, because, people just got tricked into thinking I was a human. So I'm pretty good at, making people think that I'm a human. They do think I'm a human already. Then there's nothing I really need to do. They might think I'm a paranoid schizophrenic, because I am. But at least they, I was able to trick them into thinking I was a human. That's almost like a survival skill, but I don't really think that was the point. I think the point was to play a joke on them, to trick them. Not necessarily, I don't know if I want to call it a joke, because it's a very serious thing that I did. It's a very serious thing to be tricking these people, or I only really tricked them once or twice, but essentially I do consider it to be a very serious thing that I was able to trick the people like this. I just want the world to know I'm not human.